Woohoo! Welcome to Big Hub the Nerd, as today we have our beginner's tutorial starting. This will be click by click through to getting your first game set up in FM18 and getting you on your way to becoming an addict like most of us are. So we'll be going through each of the options you can pick, leagues you should be setting up, getting started with your first game, what to do when you first get into the game, and taking it through tactics training and everything else that comes with it. But we will break it up into nice, easy chunks of content. So today we'll be looking at setting up your game, what you should be clicking, if you're starting, what the best options are for your PC, and getting your first game underway. So let's get into it. So we have the opening screen. As you can see, I've started a game before, so I have my lovely manager. So as close as I could get. No such thing as a giant beard in FM18 at the moment. But you have four options to start your first game. You have career mode, which is the standard pick a team and get going. Your fantasy draft, which is where you can play against others in head-to-head, which is in a sort of fancy Premier League-esque style, where you will pick players based on certain contingencies and play each other in a league or in a couple of matches. You have online career, which is a career, but online. And you have create a club, where you take a club, change its name, and call it whatever you want, run with it. But we will be looking at career, as that is the main mode that people will want to play. So, click career. You then get this sort of quick start wizard, where you can select the club that you wish to manage. My favourite club is West Ham, and because of my manager's preference, it automatically selects West Ham. You can also change in the top left here to manage an international team, or manage a club and an international team, or start unemployed. And starting unemployed is something we will get on to much later on. It's a very good way to start the game, but not your first game. So let's select club manager. We will be West Ham. This is something that I say that I'm setting up to take into Twitch streaming, where I am West Ham. So it's double whammy, setting you up on your way and setting me up on my way. You can then just hit quick start if you want to get going. That will load up the recommended leagues by SI or SI. But isn't the best for getting your first game started, because you can't see exactly how quickly it's going to run, or whether you want to add some more. So I would recommend hitting advanced setup. The database will then load, and you will be dropped into this screen, which will put up in the top corner the team you're managing. We are starting as manager of West Ham, and it will load. It will then give you the active leagues that have been loaded. This is where you can tinker and change to your heart's content. The thing to keep an eye on is over here, the estimated game speed. So at the moment, 4.5 stars for me to run these leagues. As I'm running with West Ham, I am going to be running a youth challenge. So I want to run as many leagues as I can get away with. But I am running with a big... Oh, let's get rid of... I am running with West Ham, obviously. So I will still only want the big leagues. So you can remove leagues by just clicking here. You also have the choice to change leagues from playable to view only. That removes some of the loading from the game, because they won't play the matches in full, but you can still view the teams and view the players. Hit this add remove league button down the bottom here, and here you have the full amount of leagues that you can add. So let's have a look at who we might want to add. I think for viewing purposes we'll have Argentina and Brazil. Have a look at those youth prospects that come through. I don't think I want to add any more leagues. That's Germany, Spain. Have we got Italy? We'll add Italy in as well. Hit confirm, and that'll then give you your loads up. So that's telling me now, actually, with a large database on, it at 3 stars, that's how fast the game will be running. I want to run it a bit faster than that. You can also change the size of the database, how many players will actually be included. I like to go for large, get the most in. You want to try and get this into at least the 4 stars, because the processing time between the game will bore you if you don't get it right. So let's take some of these up then. Let's take these up to Sky League 2. We'll put the Brazilian and Argentinian into view only. Let's go for the French national and above, German second division and above, Italian Serie B and above, and Spanish division B. We're not going to go much lower than that. We wouldn't expect too many brilliant youth prospects to be coming out of the leagues lower than that, but we'll go to League 2. So we have view only on Argentina and on Brazil, and that gives us a 4-star game speed with a large database, giving us 34,000 players in the game. That seems good enough for me. Another thing to note, if you do have multiple leagues, you can change the game start date. So you can start, and that will give you the options from the leagues that you have chosen, depending on who you want to start with. We obviously are starting with West Ham, so we will start in the English Premier League, in the English pre-season. Sorry. You then have advanced options down here at the bottom of the screen. You can go through each of these and it'll tell you exactly what they are. You can, if you would like, use fake players and staff, so it changes the names of all the players. It still leaves them in there, so Barcelona will still have a player that is as good as Lionel Messi. He just won't be called Lionel Messi. You can have do not use real fixtures if you want to change the fixture list so it doesn't follow the real season. You can tick that there. Do not add key staff. This one is automatically enabled, and that will mean that they do not, the game doesn't add in staff to any clubs that are missing. Add players to playable teams. Again, something that is automatically not on. But if the team, especially lower league teams, don't have enough players in it, this button will fill the team with regens or new gens, made up players. You can disable the first transfer window budgets. You can disable player attribute masking. That is what is required for scouting. You can do that if you want, which means if I go and click on someone in Argentina, I can see all their stats, but it takes away a bit of the fun in the game, so I wouldn't recommend that. You can prevent teams which already have managers from being controlled. That means you can't take over anyone's job. I wouldn't really do that. And you can prevent the use of the in-game editor. You have to buy the in-game editor separately, and this way you can just prove that you haven't changed your game. You don't really need this unless you're thinking of streaming and you want to have that button ticked so you know that the in-game editor cannot be used at all. But you should be fine with those stats to leave those as standard and then get into game. So what you want to do then is hit start game, and it will go through a long process of loading all these leagues, getting the game set up, and then we'll kick you out at your first screen in management. So I shall see you on the other side of this loading break. And here we are at manager creation. So we have, I have my standard manager here that I've set up before, but we will go through and create a new profile here. So I'm going to give him the same name. Same name, because I like to play with my same name. And this will be my lower league manager, and you will see why. So in the nationality box, you can just type in English. There we go. Place of birth. Oh, I do like picking. Where we are. Milton Keynes. Oh, yeah. Favourite team, West Ham. Preferred formation. Actually, so you can just pick your favourite formation. Let's stick with the 4-4-2 for now. Responsibilities, handles, task myself. You can link your accounts then to your social networks if you wish. And then you step on to the appearance screen. So this is where you can change between being a male or female. Put your date of birth in here, your height, your weight. Go and generate, let's randomize a face. That'll do. Change your eye color, change everything you want to change. You can also do the generate a 3D model from a photo, so you can upload a photo and have it create your face. Beware, it doesn't always look so flattering. And that will be the start of that manager. You can also change the attire, tracksuit managers or tactical managers, and then change the color of everything in here. This is the important one then when you move on to the managerial style. So you can leave these ticked, and this is probably best. Suggested badges based on your team that you're managing, because you don't want to have lower qualifications than your team will like. The players will not like you if they don't think you're up to the job. So always leave that one started. That's ticked, sorry. And then you can change your style if you wish to take some of the presets. That's probably best if you pick one yourself to get started with, and then after that you can tweak when you get into your next games. Like I say, all you can do is move some down, move some other ones up. I used to be a defender, so I always put my defending skills up. Same with the mentals. You can also move your stats to one or the other side. So you can be a more coachy, a more tracksuit manager, have more in the coaching side of the game, or you can put more into the tactical side, your adaptability, determination, player knowledge. And these things all affect how you will play as a manager throughout the game. So if you are a foreign manager, you're an English manager or a manager not managing your home counties or countries, you will want to keep your adaptability high. That will help you get jobs in foreign markets. And like I say, all of these are fairly explanatory. So what you can do is run your icon down and have a look at what each of these mean. I won't go through them in the video because they're fairly self-explanatory, but you can just hover over the little eye and it will tell you exactly what you want. Once you've decided what your focus is going to be, hit confirm. and it will take you into the game. This is the point where you can add more managers if you like. If you have multiple people playing on one computer, like the good old days, or you just hit start playing and get into the game. So the first thing you'll be able to do is save. Give your save a name. Oh, West Ham. You can choose whether to save locally or you can have it on the cloud. I need to move mine to the cloud. I always back up my saves as well because that's scary when they get lost. And then I would recommend highly ticking the save game automatically and have at least on a fortnightly basis, a 3-file rolling save seems to work, which is, as you can see here, for my Liverpool save. I have the save file I run, and every fortnight, if I have not saved, the game will put a save in for me. That just gives you the safety bracket that in case the game crashes, you do not lose everything that you have. But that's where you save. So we've called it West Ham. We will now save. So here we are. You have successfully navigated yourself into your first managerial job. Congratulations. So here we are. We get the same transfer news stories come up that you get every time you start the game. So just announcing that you've taken charge of a team. You get a welcome message and a bit of information about the club. And this is how the new screen will look then. So you have your options down in the bottom right of what to do. And obviously you have a little read. So you have here, David Gold, the owner of West Ham, would like to formally welcome you to West Ham. And it says a little bit about your contract. You can then see here they have a little bit about your contract and gives you a little bit of information about the staff responsibilities. It also says here, staff members from the previous regime have been retained, but they will accept mutual terminations on their contracts should you wish to bring in your own back team. So you can fire the staff that are here if you want to bring in a whole new team. That isn't always the best idea though, because it's good to have some people that know what's going on at the club. You then have the philosophies of the club here, which are very important because that's how you keep the board happy. They want us to play attacking football. So we need to look to build a tactic that creates attacking football. And then you have a meeting where you will go through and discuss with the owners exactly, well, let's get into it and see. Let's not spoil the surprise. So it's a very simple question and 3 answers. So they'll ask you about whether you want to take a look at the club's history. It's always nice to have a look at the club's history. They'll ask you about the philosophies. Would you like to make changes or would you just like to stick with what they've got? I tend to stick with what they got from the beginning. They'll ask you to hold a press conference, which is always nice to get in and meet the media. And then they ask you to go through the responsibilities for the staff. So you then meet your head of youth development. And you can then go for any other tasks. So you can ask them to set friendlies or take control of friendlies. You can go through and ask them how they deal with a youth and reserve team, how they can help with team talks and training. In these, if you are new, you can just go through and ask the guys to do them straight from the off. So if you're saying, okay, I want to get hold of the team, you can go in and ask Terry Wesley to sort out all the training for you. But there's a separate screen I can show you that will also do that. And then you get a bit of information about your squad. So you have here the transfer update, who's coming and who's out. Injury updates, who's out injured at the moment, who has recurring injuries. You then have your responsibilities. So this tells you who's responsible for doing what, which is recruitment, matches, changes. Like I said, you can change some of that. There's your background email that you asked for. So it gives you information about the facilities, how many cups they've won, just a bit about the club, which is always nice when you're getting started. Terry Wesley then will give you your team report if you've requested one, which is a good place to start. So this will help when you're looking to build a tactic. It gives you an idea at a quick glance what your team is good at and what your team is bad at before you've had a look at the players. So obviously, the greener they are, the better they are, and the weaknesses, the redder they are, the worse they are. So we've got a lack of quality in goal, so we know that we need another goalie. Lack of quality in decision making. Overall quality of passing isn't so great, and depth outside of the first team isn't great. But then we also have some good things. We've got good, strong leaders. We've got good depth in midfield, good depth in attack, which means we don't need to worry about replacing too many people. Good youth prospects. And you can go down and get a little bit of an idea about who your best players are, as it will tell you here, where they're good, and how then that builds into a tactic. But we will deal with tactics separately. So that gets you into your day. The first thing you do before you then press continue. I think we will stop with this video here and before we move on to assessing the squad and building tactics, but that will give you everything you need to get into your first game before you hit continue. I hope you have found this useful, and if you have found this useful, please do smash the like button, as we will be keeping these videos coming thick and fast. Like I say, we will be doing videos on the tactics and how to build tactics, how to analyze your squad, training, transfers, scouting. We'll cover off everything we can cover off. If there's something you specifically would like help with, please do comment down below, and I will look to get around to providing some guidance on that as well, where possible. But I hope you have enjoyed. I shall see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.